So as an ethical hacker, you are gonna have to get familiar with Linux. Um, Two of the most popular Linux distributions. Linux has a lot of distributions which you can use. Two of the most popular for hackers are Kali Linux, which you can download from kali.org, and another very popular operating system for hackers is Parrot OS. These operating systems are based on Debian, which is another Linux distribution. But these operating systems come with a lot of hacking tools already pre-installed. So when you install this operating system, you do not have to install the hacking tools yourself. They are already pre-installed. I will be showing you how to download the Parrot OS operating system, which you can download from parrotsec.org, as you can see here. You will go to download, and as you can see, there are different versions. We do want the security edition, and as you can see the description, Parrot Security Edition is a special purpose operating system designed for penetration tests and red team operations. It contains a full arsenal of ready-to-use pen testing tools. Also, it is available for AMD 64 architectures and also in OVA format. So this contains all the penetration testing tools, which we do want. So we are gonna download this version, and we want the ISO. So you will download the ISO, and we're gonna have to wait for the download to be completed. So once we have downloaded Parrot OS, we are gonna install Parrot OS. We're gonna use VMware, so we are gonna install Parrot on top of VMware. So we are gonna create a virtual machine, and on that virtual machine, we are gonna install Parrot OS. So we are not gonna install Parrot OS on our own machine, but we are gonna create a virtual machine using VMware. To download VMware, you can go to products. You have to go to their website, vmware.com. You will go to products, and you can download Workstation Player. Now, I do have Workstation Pro installed, but the steps should be the exact same. So even though I am using Workstation Pro, you can still follow along. To create a new virtual machine, we are gonna have to create a new machine. So we have to create the hardware first. So we press New Virtual Machine, and you will get the option to install a typical, recommended, or a custom advanced. I always install it using the advanced option. So if we click next and we click next again, it will ask you the ISO image, to browse the ISO image, so the installation file, and install Parrot OS. But we will be installing this later. So we will set, I will install the operating system later, and then next, and it's gonna ask you which OS version you are gonna install. Parrot OS is based on Debian, and we want the 64-bit version. So you're gonna have to select Linux, go to this drop box, and select Debian 12 64-bit. You go to the next, you press next, and now it will ask you what virtual hard drive you want. So it will ask you first how many processors you want. This doesn't really matter. I personally select 2. And it asks you how many RAM you want. I'm gonna select 4 gigabytes of RAM. And which network card you want. We're just gonna go with the standard network interface card. This is because there is also in VMware a virtual network. I will be explaining how networking works in later videos. but the network address translation basically it will automatically translate the internal IP address to our machine. So the machine will have access to the internet. So we are gonna select this. I press next. And for all of this, we're just gonna keep the recommended default configurations. Here I do recommend more disk space, at least 80, because we are gonna download or gonna use word lists, which is a text file that contains a lot of passwords, and it does and you do need a little bit of disk space to use those. So we are gonna create an 80 gigabyte disk space. Then we will press next again, and you can when you get this screen, we just press finish. You can also customize the hardware, but we will finish it for now. And your machine should appear here. And the manage settings, you also can press edit virtual machine settings here, and will give you the same menu as the manage option we saw earlier. And we do under CD DVD, we want to mount our ISO file. So we press browse, go to our downloads folder, and as you can see, we have parrot security here. Press open, and you have to check this also, use ISO image file. And we press OK, and then we power on our virtual machine. We can rename it. Let's give it a name, parrot. And now we renamed it. We can also give it a description. This is a test machine. And then we can power on this virtual machine, and we can use Parrot OS without having to delete our Windows operating system, which is optimal for the usage. So try, here you have 3 options which you can select. We will try/install. When you press that, it will first go to the trial version. It should, so it will boot up now. Let's wait for it. It shouldn't take too long. Okay, so now let's close this. So now you can try out Parrot Linux. So let's say you had this ISO, you put it on a USB using Rufus, and you want to try, and you put it in the computer, you boot it from the USB. You could try out Parrot OS, so you can use it, but we want to just immediately install Parrot OS. We don't want to try it out. So we just press on this icon, install Parrot, and it should give you the setup. And you just press next. Next, these are just the languages, America, New York, time zone, doesn't really matter. I'm actually not from America, I'm from Europe. So I'll press next. English, we want the keyboard, layout, partition, we want to erase the disk. Just this means it will erase the disk and install it using the entire disk. Next, what is your name? We just call it hacker. And the password should be your own password. Next, install now. And this should install Parrot OS, so we're gonna have to wait till the installation is complete. So once the installation is complete, you will get an option. I forgot to record it, but it will give you an option, reboot now. You press that option, and the system will automatically reboot. And then you can log in here. You press in the password you've configured, and you will have access to your operating system.